Hey everybody, it's Tom Ferry hanging with Gary Vaynerchuk. We're backstage at the MGM Grand, about to do a little convention. He's in the middle of a really ferocious, one-a-day interview deal. We've known each other for a couple of years. I thought, hey, we're together. We got a flip video camera, right? Let's talk and let's share, right? Let's share what's going on with everybody. So, first of all, give him a quick State of the Union. Gary Vaynerchuk, VaynerMedia.
Yeah.
So
it's good to see everybody again. Yeah, no, I know. We met maybe 3 or 4 years now ago.
Mm-hmm. Before Crush It, dude. Before Crush It.
Crap, so that was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's good to see a lot of you again. Well, you see me, I'm not necessarily seeing you. VaynerMedia is what I'm really focusing on these days. It's a social media agency mainly focused on content. So we produce the content that you see on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, for major Fortune 500 companies, the NFL, Oprah Winfrey Network, PepsiCo, Ritz Crackers, those kind of things. And that's going extremely well. We grew from 30 to 250 people in the last year, so I've been really focused on that, really operating. I wanted to remind people why it was worth listening to me, and I thought the reason I'm worth listening to is, yes, I'm animated and shockingly handsome, but I actually build businesses, and I think that that was kind of something I needed for myself again.
You needed to get back in the groove again.
I did.
Back in the grind.
I feel like at first, when I first broke out, I was like, oh, this guy built a $60 million wine business. Let's listen to him. And then it just became, oh, you're Gary V. You have 1 million Twitter followers and you write books. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not that. I'm not a speaking head and a pundit. So that's going well. I'll break some news for your crowd only, because I always like to do stuff for you. I'm very close to signing a television deal. A big one.
Congratulations.
So
so for years you've been pushing
I've been pushing it off.
So,
I think I've got the right deal. I mean, it still might not happen. So I'll look back at this video one day.
You heard it here first.
But that's a very, very closest I've ever been. So that's going well. That will be exciting. Then that will probably change my life in some ways. And I'm deep right now, deep into last night. I got home late in Vegas here, and normally I'd want to go out. Would have normally done dinner, but after a quick meeting with a client here, I'm deeply into my new book. And writing that, well, actually audioing it the way I do it. That's called Jab, 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 Right Hook.
When's that coming out?
That's coming out in October.
So we'll have to do a little TV promotion, get the word out, buy a lot of books. You know what he does. So I got a couple minutes with you before you got to go on stage. So I got a couple questions, and I want to start with this. So for my friends watching, you saw me come out in 2008, 2007, and say, everything is changing, right? Not just the market, but everything was changing. The landscape of how we were connecting with customers was changing. And back in 2007, I was like, hey, you should get a Facebook account, and you should look at Twitter. And I was doing videos, and we were starting this sort of revolution of what was to come. But I wrote down for you, all of that was happening really in the midst of a massive economic crisis. So social media began at a time when people were just getting hammered in terms of business.
It's like a rose coming out of the concrete.
Exactly, right? So here's what I wrote down for you. So how do you see social media, all things new media, impacting a person's business as the market begins to turn, since it really started in the ashes?
Yeah, I don't think it started in the ashes because of the ashes.
No, of course not.
I don't think that social media grew out of people's desperation of not having money.
No.
It was just happening. It was just what was going to happen. It's just a timing. So to me, I think that one thing that will happen is people are going to be willing to bet on it for a different reason. I think in 07 and 08, your fellow agents, your crew, the world was betting on it because it was less expensive than betting on direct mail or television, things of that nature. I think
it was just new.
Yeah, it was new, but it was definitely sweat equity versus financial equity.
Sure.
What I think is interesting now is now that people have extra dollars or are going to have a little bit more money, I think they'll be betting on it again for that same reason. To me, it's just a platform that's going to win. It's no different than what happened with the internet itself. And I think you'll see the post-game be the same, meaning the internet in 98, 99, big bubble, things were good, then 9/11, and there was a little bit of a dip in the economics in 2001 and 2 before it got really going. And after that, in 03, 04, 05, that is when we saw the dig.coms and the YouTubes come out and really start the wave. I think we're going to see the same thing. I think that there'll probably be a couple things invented this year. One of the things I'm very much paying attention to is Google Glasses. I think we're about to see a huge transformation. Social is predicated on people and word of mouth. If the people in the real estate industry don't understand how important word of mouth is, then nobody does. And so I think intuitively when it comes to this crew, I think what's going to happen, it's going to get bigger, stronger than ever. I think print and radio and television are going to continue to go down, and I think we're heading in that direction.
Cool. So there's a lot of debate amongst agents, and I can play with both sides. I really want your opinion. Twitter, yes or no? Facebook personal page and just connect to the people I already know, or should I have a business page?
Yeah, so to me Facebook's an easy answer. Facebook fan page, not personal page. You're polluting the waters of your actual friends, and you're just gonna, first of all, fan page just allows you to do so many more things. So the coding, the API, the analytics, it's a non-debate. If you have a Facebook page that's your page that you're using for business, you need to create a fan page immediately.
Okay, so I want to, because that's the side that I take, which is, look, your personal page is your personal page. And if you're out there saying, I got a listing on your personal page, that's lame.
Yeah, and even better, if you post on your personal page, hey, I've started a fan page, whenever 11 friends come over to that, well then you know they're open to hearing your spiel versus the ones that aren't, and so that's a no-brainer. As far as Twitter, listen, Twitter to me is the most native platform for me because I'm an extrovert, I like the cocktail party, and so I still believe that Twitter, especially twitter.com/search, I mean, this is the same record I've been singing for 5 years.
This was 2009. But here's the deal, though. So you've got a ton of people. I probably helped tens and tens and tens of thousands around the world in the real estate space get onto Twitter. But they're still trying to think about what they should be tweeting
instead of listening.
Exactly.
And you know what's interesting? The reason I'm writing the new book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, is, and the subtitle is The Perfect Formula to Tell Your Story in a Noisy World.
Nice.
I've come to realize my last book, The Thank You Economy, could have been called Jab, 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 Jab.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that people do want to figure out how to tell their story. I've been so like, use your ears, use your ears. The fact of the matter is, people are just not patient enough. And so a few will do it. But if I'm now being forced into saying, fine, let me teach you how to use your mouth. And so that's what I'm really focused on with the new book.
Okay, but you're a great storyteller, so it should be a no-brainer. You and I have had many conversations about Twitter that we do a lot of pushing on Twitter. We message our blogs, we talk about the things we're doing, but in the background, I'd say still 70% of my tweets are at reply. It's, hey, thanks so much, until they appreciate it.
Context marketing.
Right, exactly.
I just think that people don't understand how much context matters. When I see you right now, I have different feelings for you than we just met, and so now I'll have a different feeling for you the second time I meet you. It's just, I don't understand how people don't understand the relationship pyramid, and context matters, giving a crap matters. I think the whole world is predicated on supply and demand. I think the biggest thing that's in short supply right now is effort, and whoever figures out how to give effort is going to win.
Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So first of all, thank you. So many of the clients I'm talking to right now, Gary, we're seeing analytics, right? Not bullshit numbers, like analytics. Like 38% of the business is coming from their past clients and centers of influence, which they never talk to, right? But a big percentage, like 19% of their business right now is coming from direct mail. Direct mail's back. So one of the questions I want to talk to you about is, direct mail's back, but the way the consumer is responding today, they're getting your direct mail piece, and they're not going, oh my God, Gary just sent me something about a listing. Oh my God, hi Gary. They're going online, they're reading reviews about you, they're doing their homework and research. So I want to know from a marketing standpoint, in your opinion, how do I go from direct mail, media, television, radio, whatever it may be, whatever push you're doing, what's an elegant way to get them to come and check me out online? How do you extend the story?
So there's two things here. So, I'd love to see the direct mail 19%. I want to understand how that was calculated. Because with all due respect, and I'm looking at a lot of data.
I knew that was going to, this is real estate space, our clients, we're tracking the numbers.
Respect. I think first of all, it's hard to track direct mail unless it's the only thing you do, or if you've got a real call to action within direct mail. But I will say this, so assuming that that's working, which again,
I knew this was going to get
about. You're right. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to. There's so many digital ways to reach audiences at a more cost-effective way than paying the post office. And listen, I test direct mail for my library. You didn't get me. You're pissing me off. I want to see it. But that being said, I'm going to respect it because I hear it's coming from you.
So ready? They've got 500 homes in a community that they're marketing to, right? So they send the direct mail, and the person calls them because they know them, they've got signs in there, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of stuff.
That being said, you can run Facebook ads targeted to one community for a fraction of the price. But that being said, I'll respect that. Let's move on to the next part. Content.
Yeah.
How do you get them? Content.
Yeah.
If that little postcard was predicated on watch our free show Monday through Friday, get our PDF report on why, content. Everybody, you, me, you, Remax, Shmemax, Memax, MGM Grand, everybody in the world now is in the content business, and people have to realize that. It is not just ESPN, Vogue, Travel Magazine anymore, it's every individual, so you have to figure out how you're in the content business. So to me, and I've said a lot at real estate conventions, do a review about the places around the homes, or the town, or interview the mayor.
The restaurants,
all
the local
that
school
stuff
teachers,
is so valuable.
right? Absolutely.
Content for days.
All right, so shocking on direct mail. I was shocked by
it. I mean, listen, I mean, it's all context. I always want to see the little asterisk, like, 500 people in one community that you're trying to sell to, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very targeted deal. It's not. This is not just random.
And listen, I believe in everything. Listen, you want to still post your faces on benches? Fine, but extend the story. In there, instead of just your phone number, why don't you give a URL or say, take a picture of my face and @reply me here. Like, there's better ways to start communicating. In a world where all of us are holding devices like this, we have to start understanding that aspect.
Okay, so let's talk pure business. The message that I've had for the last 10 years, after, I mean, I've done 110,000 coaching sessions, so I've talked to a lot. I mean, I have a pretty, I have a lot of depth when it comes to why agents do what they do and what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
The game changer for the top 10% is they've diversified their marketing, they've diversified their lead generation, they've got multiple silos and ways to attract customers, right? The market's now getting better. So a lot of them diversified during the downturn because they had to, right? In real estate world, they had to do short sales, maybe they did REOs, and they had to, it was diversify or die. Now we're seeing this great surge back in the marketplace. Consumers' homes are worth more money again, they're trading again. So what's happening is I'm seeing this easy business is available, and then they stop, I'm gonna swear, they stop fucking hustling. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they let their guard down and they go, here comes the easy money, but the people that are watching this, they made it. They fought the fight during the hard times. And my concern now is that they're going to let the guard down. And
Tom, it's going to come down to who the individual is that's watching this right now. The ones that are, listen, the fact of the matter is, two guys like us that have had success, we can, sit up here and ponder and debate and prolificate from the top of the mountain. It just depends on the individual. If you're an individual who's 68 years old and you fought the last 6 years, 7 years, and you're a little tired and you kind of want to go golfing and fishing a little more and take it easy, cool. Now, if you're not, I don't know how you're not betting on your future. To me, this is actually, and I've done this in the wine business, to me this is the time to double down on the hustle.
Bingo.
To me, this is where you go countercultural and you work even harder because it's more fruitful. And you're actually gaining from other places. It's time to raise. I know that, I've done my homework before speaking here, people have dropped their commissions to 4.5 and things like that. Time to, this is where you start getting strategic and push 6 again and things of that nature. To me, whether it's good times or bad times, I'm oblivious to the global markets. I really am. I've grown every year of my life in business. And there's been great years, and then there's been when, listen,
it's adapt and adjust, right?
My business was completely predicated on Wall Street when 9/11 happened. And I was a New York, New Jersey based business. So that was way tougher than the economic downs, and we grew tremendously. I think if you are hustling and if you're being smart and if you're thinking long term, if you know when you're watching this that bad times are going to happen again, and let me take advantage in these 6 years.
Save your cash. Right?
Or diversify your business, or make inroads in other markets, or go on the offense. Use that extra cash to hire more people to grow your base, so that when you fall down, you're coming off a higher base. There's a lot of ways to go about it.
We talk a lot about the 5 cycles of the business. So everybody watching this knows you got the startup phase of your business, you got the growth phase of your business, and then you got the cash cow phase, and then you go into things are going the wrong direction, fading, winter, restructure. So much of what we talk about is staying in the growth, staying hungry. So in your opinion, what's the mindset? We kind of went into it a little bit there, but what's the mindset of just staying pro-growth, staying young, staying aggressive?
I think the only thing that allows you to do that is self-awareness, context, meaning you got to know yourself. So I'm driven by competition. right? I think you are too, some of the stuff we talked about before we were on camera. So for me, it's easy, right? I'm always competitive, and there's always gonna be somebody making more, doing better, getting more press, making more shit happen, and so it's easy for me. But some people aren't. Some people are completely predicated on, you know, build up and live the good life. You know, at some level, I'm obsessed with hustle and staying in growth, but a little bit of me wants to go in a different direction and say, do you know yourself? Know yourself. If you're competitive, that's easy, check. If you're looking to make cash and then just have a boat and golf, then you're the opposite, you're check. It's the ones in the middle that I think are interesting, which is about 80%.
That's the biggest
Absolutely.
Group. Absolutely.
For that group, you know, I think it's a lot of communication, it's a lot of self-awareness, it's a lot of paying attention to reality, and very honestly, it's a lot of psychiatrists, families, coaches, it's communication. I think getting things out of your body is very important, cleansing, communicating. I'm a big fan of communication. I think that's it. Finding 4 or 5 people, finding this circle, you've got the 5 phases, maybe let's right here ad hoc make up the 5 people in your kind of army, 5-person circle, and make them different. Have one person that's always on the attack, like me. Then have an old school dude or chick that's conservative as hell, right? And then have one that's a marketer, and then have one that's a CFO, financial. Try to find a 5-person ninja team in your life, and it doesn't have to be official or pay them. Find 5 mentors slash, you know, teammates that can help you talk things through and then give you the biggest picture of the reality of the situation.
Every one of them knows mastermind. It's like old school, like get together as a big group because you're always better riding their shoulders than you are standing.
But do it with people. Do it with people who've actually done it. I think back to the beginning of this interview. I think too many people have coaches or masterminds who haven't done it. Do it with people that have done it. Do it with CFO who turned around a
built a business, turned it around, went from negative to positive. I mean, totally agree. Totally agree. All right, 2 last questions. We got to be mindful of time. So, first question: just what are you studying? You don't read books. You read a lot of magazines. You read a lot of blogs. So, what are you reading that's interesting? And where are you going for? I mean, magazines. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's just everything is too fast. I love the whole.
I'm in a really lucky place.
Economy, right?
I'm in a lucky place. Everything's coming to me. I mean, I'm getting, I got 45 emails this morning from startups saying we're changing the world. Read. So, what's getting me excited is hardware. Things like Nike Fuel Band, Jawbone, Google Glasses. I'm obsessed. Smart jeans telling you that you're fat. I mean, there's a lot coming. So hardware is interesting to me. The continuation of content and commerce. So that to me is super fascinating. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice. I think you, with all the content that you do, I'd love to know the 5 things every real estate agent actually buys. And I'm talking about pens. And I'm talking about iPad covers. And I'm talking about GPS apps. I think you can foray into commerce. I think you should have a Tom Ferry store. I think you should sell 3 or 4 things. I don't know your industry well enough to know the right thing for you to sell, but if I would have done it in a different way, that if I didn't own Wine Library and it was more content, I could have sold glasses, wine glasses, decanters, corkscrews. I I think that's coming. So, 3 or 4 years ago when we were pushing video and you were pushing video, you could have sold branded flip cams back in the day. That kind of stuff.
Microphones, whatever,
I think that's a big deal. I even think that might be an evolution in the real estate industry. If you're selling somebody their home, why aren't you selling them their landscaping service? Why aren't you selling them the alarm?
Or at least having partnerships with every one of those. A lot of them know, like, hey, when you buy a house from me, I've got all
these service
providers.
I mean, do some people sell a home and then get a kickback by referring a real estate a landscaper or an alarm company, or is that illegal? Like, how does that work?
No. I guarantee that there are some, but a lot of them just have those people as like these are my service providers, and it's like, hey, I'm taking care of you, you take care of me. You know what I mean? So
I think making that a little more formal.
Broker owners do it. They've got mortgage companies, title, escrow, PID, they've got all these.
And I think that they're working on referral. I think the ones that are in a good spot, talk about being on the offense. If things are good right now, go buy a 3-person landscape company. And instead of referring and making 5 points or 10 points, own it. So the evolution of content to commerce, I'm completely fascinated by.
Interesting.
Those are 2 things I'm thinking about.
Very, very cool. So any last sort of closing thoughts? Just,
Facebook.com/Gary. I'm always looking to engage.
Twitter.
Gary VEE. No, I think the big thing to really think about is The real thing to think about is, I don't think that you've been listening to this man for the last 4 years and you're still not producing content because you're embarrassed to do video. Cool, then don't. But you can do audio and you can do the written word, or you can do Facebook funny pictures, or you can do Pinterest pretty pictures.
Pictures in your community and just making comments. Easy stuff.
Content is becoming the differentiator more and more every day. You've got to attack it.
Yeah, cool, man.
All right,
thank you, buddy, always. See you guys. Take care.